Hello and welcome back to another episode of Review Your Death Clips. My name is Syken. I have played quite a bit of World of Warcraft Hardcore. I have leveled every class to level 60, did all of the content including killing KT on both sides. So let's jump right into it and see what kind of death clips we have today. Alright, let's jump into the first death. Today it comes from Ocean Machine. Let's go. Rights in Winterspring. That is an unfortunate one. Okay, let's use this as a template for just talking about death where you fall in general. So, he is currently trying to get on that mountain for whatever reason. Maybe wants to take a shortcut. I don't know. Doesn't matter really. We are level 56. We're not self-found. And we're riding at this point. UI is pretty clean. Has a Hearthstone bound. Has a couple of potions bound. I think here's the deal. If you are a class that cannot withstand long falls, as in you're not a mage, or you're not a priest, or you're not a rogue to some extent, or you're not a druid to some extent, both of which get safe fall and can therefore survive longer falls. So if you're any of the other classes, you need to ask yourself, how do I deal with fall damage? Because that's percentage based and your gear and your character doesn't count. So after level 45, if you're not self-found, there is no reason why you shouldn't have limited invulnerability potions and also bind them to yourself. They will nullify the risk of dying, and you can essentially just survive what is happening here. So that's the biggest knowledge gap / execution gap that I'm seeing here. It's just reckless, and if you're then going on top of a hill, then that's really on you. The second option that you could opt into is going for engineering and then the parachute cloak. That's a little bit more finicky because it's a drop recipe, not that easy to get, but in later stages of the server, and there is no fresh server where that wouldn't exist. There's really no reason, if you're an engineer, not to wear one specifically during leveling. It's one click and then you're good. I'm not seeing a lot of engineering tools on his bar, so he might actually not be an engineer, which means comes back to lib. So I don't know how to specifically classify that. I would say it's potentially mainly a knowledge gap that we're seeing here, and it cost him dearly. On the upside, I will give him credit that this looks like a short fall, and then it kind of goes on, and this would still be survivable, like barely, but this is no longer. That's a nasty fall, because the game kind of suggests that you're or gives you the illusion that you're almost done with falling when you're not. Okay, all right, let's move on. All right, second death will come from Moglix. We are in UnGoro crater in the cave with quite a few nasty gorillas, and we're playing as a mage, frost mage to be precise.
Everywhere. I don't want thunder. Okay, you know, fuck you guys. I'm just gonna.
Is he trying to AoE these guys? No way. Yeah, he's.
Holy shit! Sometimes I wonder where the fuck the damage is coming from.
Okay. I'm sorry for laughing, but that is comical. Alright, so, where do I start? Well, there is definitely a knowledge gap here, because the gentleman doesn't know that the Thunderers do have a shock ability. It's not just called Thunderer for a reason, but it's, I think, a 350 hit point shock ability. Interrupts casting, but most importantly deals just quite a bit of nature damage. So that's knowledge gap here. He is equal level with all of these enemies, which, mind you, if your AoE grinding is typically not what you're going for, it can happen, but it's very seldom. And he, for whatever reason, decides to use the worst place of all places, which is a cave where you have 0 escapes and a narrow corridor, to then pull multiple. So he pulls not only one Thunderer, but 2, 3, 4 Thunderers, which already means he can get hit for 1,200 to 1,400 just based on the shocks alone. Slows them.
Holy shit.
And wonders where's that damage coming from. So at this point here, there are not a lot of really good outs. He could Hellspot and keep his barrier up and then actually try to get them down. But given that there is respawn on the way out, not even fleeing is a really good idea. He has 5 Slumber Send, so I would potentially, if I'd be in his shoes, try to salvage this pull by Hellspotting, Slumber, Sheep, and then just trying to get the 3 down, and then eventually working my way through the other 2. But that's not on his mind. He goes into an AoE move and is trying to kind of blizzard them inside here. I'll give you a couple of other reasons why this is a massively disproportional idea, and by disproportional I mean way too much risk for the reward. If he's successful, 5 of these guys are dying. If he's unsuccessful, he's going to be in a world of pain. The 5th one that he also pulled is a gorilla, and gorillas have the cry for help ability, which means I don't know what's on his left side, we can't see it, but if there is a single gorilla left over, they will join that very pack. So he gets them into shock range, which I think is 20 feet or whatnot. Smirks at the camera, still being very happy with himself. Given that he's level 53, I would say maybe he has 2,000 to 2,400 hit points, plus the barrier, which is, let's say, combined 2,500. And he's currently at below 1,000 hit points, and you can see how the four hits are coming in. I would argue, even if he wouldn't have pulled 4 Thunderers, that would be a very good chance that he would still not have survived the pull. So, I mean, they say mage brain, and they mean just being greedy, and this is all it was. Not knowing it, and the execution also was not clean. You should definitely not do that inside of caves. Alright, our final clip of the day comes from Jujulak, BRD bar, and we're fighting at the bar. Ooh. Oh, that's going to be juicy. Let's take a look at it.
Estoy temblando. No me voy a dejar llevar, no quiero estar atento a la jugada. ¿Por dónde? Buah, venía el elemental ahí, tío.
Okay, well, although the quote-unquote protagonist of this hasn't died, we can still review it. So, this is a pretty common place to run into trouble, mainly because the bar does have so many enemies that could theoretically add. So when you're doing the bar, typically you're not clearing all of these. This here is a mixture of elite and non-elite mobs, and we do have we typically do have a strategy where this guardian of the door is being pulled into the corner, and then the rest of the party stands in the other corner unless you're melee, and you're kind of fighting him here. And the reason why that is the door is open, and you can pretty much move through it and theoretically pull something else. So looking at where we are, we got Feral Druid, currently maybe in bear form or completely tapped out is a cat. Healer Priest, Juju himself as DPS, Exor as DPS, clearly engaged in the fight, is out of energy, and the tank Larzi, who is tanking Farange. And then we're getting this additional set of mobs. So I'm seeing the rear of a bear here, which can only mean that the druid did an oopsie and pulled all of the mobs. What I don't understand is how the priest immediately gets aggro, because maybe the mobs were running out up to here, and the priest just healed Larzi, and that sprung threat over. So the only and right thing to do here is druid now switches back into cat form, by the way, after he realizes that he has done a mistake. So the only right thing to do here is AoE taunt, and since this is a destroyer, the destroyer needs to be tanked towards the wall, and the rest needs to stand behind him. So let's see what's happening. It's hard to tell because so the warrior apparently moves over here, sees all of the newcomers. Farange is moving behind him, even dazes him in doing so, and the destroyer is still on the priest as far as I'm concerned. Oh no, Mr. Druid goes back into bear form. It's actually not the worst idea. If he could pull it to the left side and tank it towards the wall, these guys are indeed stunnable, so his bear stun would be fine. Zarapazos does not have the advantage of tanking them with armor, because this is pure fire damage. So again, he seems to be currently unbothered mainly. Let's see as he moves out, see the situation a bit better. So we got still a couple of ads here. Completely unclear to me why he wouldn't use sheep at any point in time. He should actually, because there are ads happening. Instead, he moves back and forward. Yeah, gives himself a fire shield, and the priest is currently out of reach of the Feral Druid. Feral Druid doesn't have Frenzied Regeneration up. The only way for him to survive this is potentially, besides the Petri, to lip, but that and then go into healing. But even that wouldn't really work. A greater healing pot, power shift, and then Frenzied Regeneration. And a stun might buy him some more time, but it is dire, I'm not going to lie. So he is done. Priest comes back in, potentially was down here, again hard to tell. There are still a lot of dwarves around here. It's a super messy situation, super messy. Warrior could have, as he was standing here, maybe AoE feared, but I'm not even sure if that is a great idea, because I'm not sure if these guys social aggro on feared enemies. Even, yeah, I don't know that, so wouldn't recommend, but it is a dire situation. So we're now in full flight mode. As typical, when someone dies, everybody shuts off their brain and is just trying to run. Yeah, he's not peeling for his friend. Instead, you're seeing that the tank, as well as all of the DPS, are just running. Mind you, leaving the priests to take full aggro.
No me voy a dejar llevar, no quiero estar atento.
And although the priest leaves group and kind of tries to survive, he fails to do so. To be entirely honest, can't really say that the mage was to blame for the initial pull. I think the evidence so far suggests that that was the druid, but I'm not impressed with the gameplay either. The druid tried to tank, healer for whatever reason couldn't keep up with the damage that was incoming, and just let the druid die, and then all of a sudden everybody kind of started to panic and say, wow, someone died, we need to run. So that's the typical problem that we're running into. Anyways, that's all I got for today. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think, and see you on the next episode. Bye.